Munir, virologist at Lancaster University. Thanks so much for being with us, Muhammad. First of all, are you surprised that Sweden is where it is as far as its death toll is concerned?
No, not really. I mean, because right from the beginning, we've been very clear by the way disease has been spreading throughout the world. It's a highly contagious, infectious disease spread very lavishly. And especially when we knew the lockdown and the control measures have been very fruitful, especially in the beginning in China and then South Korea, Hong Kong. So therefore, having a policy to let the virus screen through the population and whoever get the infection or the immunity, that is really a Darwinian policy. That is no longer a sophisticated approach, especially for the infection that is pretty new, and we are still learning the way out from this infection.
Okay. There are several other theories out there, aside from people just saying you ignored the obvious warnings at your own peril. Some say it was actually these underestimated asymptomatic carriers that got Sweden and that caused this high a death toll. Do you think that's at least in part true?
Well, in part, it is true not only in Sweden, but also around the world, wherever the restriction has not been put at that scale. But these asymptomatic carrier has been, the problem right from the beginning, and we were very clear that asymptomatic people are the one who are spreading the infection. And now it became very clear, like around 80% of people who are infected, they might not notice the infection. So therefore, if you don't really know who is infected, it's very difficult either to test or really to trace or isolate those people. So therefore, asymptomatic infection has been one of the major surprises in the whole coronavirus scenario.
Do you think, though, the Swedish experiment has to an extent shown that the coronavirus has almost been able to avoid herd immunity that people, especially in Sweden, were hoping would come, or at least would have come by now?
Yeah, well, with the respiratory infections, these are very quick and fast to spread, and once it is really difficult to contain them. So the only way to contain them is really to identify in the beginning, because once this infection is spread even to 10% of the population, then it is beyond the capabilities of any infrastructure to test, trace, and isolate. So that has been the major challenge in Sweden, that if they didn't manage to catch in the beginning, it's very difficult to have it caught.
Doctor, before I let you go, I just have to ask you this. As you know, from a virologist perspective, is it at least valuable to have Sweden as a variable of sorts for observation in experimental terms?
Well, certainly this is a very unique situation with Sweden, and throughout the crisis, different countries have been experimenting different scenario and different policies. So I think it is still too early to really count very high on any of the strategy. So down the line, we would certainly have different scenario from different country to compare which one really work, and that would be the strategy for the future pandemics.
Okay, Dr. Muhammad Munir, thank you so much for joining us there. We appreciate it.